39M. Falsely accused by my wife's father, 67M.
How do we move forward?
My in-laws, 60s,
Have a lake house. It has a ton of space, it's a frequent vacation spot, and every holiday is done there.
they've owned it since before I met my wife, 37F. 4 years ago, we were all staying there when my wife's cousin, 37F, got a very foul email.
I won't go into what it said, but suffice to say, it made her cry.
My father-in-law works in IT.
He examined the headers and determined that the email originated from an Android phone and that it was off of the lake house Wi-Fi.
My in-laws are Apple users. I am an Android user.
My father-in-law accused me in front of everyone of sending the message.
I denied it, let him search my phone, and told him I would never do that. He found nothing but made a big show of telling me I had attacked his family and that I was banned from his home. He subsequently made a big post on Facebook about how he will always protect his family and how I had violated his home. My wife now goes there with our kids alone. I have not been there and I have not spoken with my in-laws in 4 years.
We do holidays on a separate day together, and then on the holiday I go with my family and she takes the kids to the lake house.
Yes, it sucks.
When asked why I wasn't there, my father-in-law told my kids that I do bad things.
Over 4th of July week, her cousin got another email from the same address. Once again Android and once again on the lake house Wi-Fi. This time I was 200 miles away. Well, when they checked, the other cousin, first cousin's sister, and her kids had Androids.
The kids were bored and sending prank emails not realizing they could be traced. My wife called me up, relayed the story, and asked me if I could come down for the rest of the week with the family. I told her that I would love to, and to let me know what day everyone would be there for father-in-law to make a public apology to me. She got very quiet and said, "They just want to move forward." I replied, "I do too, and I will be happy to do so after your father publicly admits to the family that he was wrong, apologizes to me, apologizes to our children, and posts a public apology on Facebook." My wife started crying and said he's not going to do that. I told her that I'm not going to come back to the lake house, that her father made it clear he doesn't consider me family, and until he makes it right, I am done with her entire family. He essentially wants to pretend like it never happened and make it look like he forgave me and welcomed me back. I am not on board with this. When they arrived back, I informed her that in the words of her father, I had to protect my family and our children would not be going back to the lake house either. My wife is devastated, begging me to forgive and move on. She says that her parents already feel awful, that they never said I wasn't family, and now I want to publicly shame and embarrass them. She says that it's not fair that I'm asking her to choose between me and her parents. I countered that her parents set up that choice 4 years ago and she had already chosen. The next lake house trip is Labor Day weekend. I've already told her that I will be bringing the kids to my brother's that weekend for a barbecue and pool party. My wife has agreed to come with us, but she keeps bringing up the lake house and begging me to reconsider. It keeps ending up with my blood pressure spiking and her crying, so I've asked her to stop bringing it up. My wife and I do love each other very much. This is maybe like 5% of our relationship, but it's something that has been weighing on me, and I know it's driving a wedge between us. I have always felt that my wife chooses her parents over me. She says she's sorry I feel that way, but it's not true. I told her that in 4 years she didn't stand up for me, because she didn't believe I didn't do it. She vehemently denies this, saying she's been trying to get her parents to let me come back since then. I don't want to unnecessarily shame her father, but making right the damage he did is non-negotiable. At the same time, my wife is crying every day, she's not eating, she's losing weight, and I know this is taking a tremendous toll on her. I don't want to be the reason she has this much stress and anxiety. How do I address this with my wife without causing a confrontation? How can I ensure that my kids understand the situation without feeling caught in the middle? Too long did not read. My father-in-law wrongly accused me of sending a hurtful email and banned me from their lake house. Now that the truth is out, I want him to make it right and my wife is torn between me and her parents. The apology needs to be just as loud as the disrespect, if not louder. Your wife was wrong to continue going to the lake house and allowing her father to disrespect you in front of your kids. She can cry a river and you shouldn't care because she didn't for 4 years and now wants to just let it go. If he publicly humiliated you by defaming you, he must be twice as loud in publicly apologizing to you and clearing your name.
His behavior was horrible, but the worst sin was defaming you in front of your kids.
It's public shaming when it's done to her parents, but she's okay with them doing it to you with no repercussions?
She should not be allowing them to disrespect you. A man who makes a mistake in public has the responsibility for correcting it in the public. She's not eating, she's losing weight, and I know this is taking a tremendous toll on her.
Why didn't she experience the same pain when you were falsely accused and banished from her family's house 4 years ago?
Stand your ground, Op.
Did he publicly shame the kids and ban them from the lake house? Did he do that to their parents? Has he said they are bad people? Your wife has chosen her father's side this entire time and is continuing to do so. Letting her father tell your kids that you are a bad person, did a bad thing, is beyond crossing the line. Don't go back to the lake house or let the kids go there until father-in-law has shown accountability and made his apology as public as his shaming was done. It's insane that your wife would rather make herself ill than just step up and actually do something about the situation. How do I, 31 female, tell my close friend, 35 female, that her adult-only parties are offending people? First of all, I would love a real adult-only party where adults can talk and have conversations without kids interfering.
She ain't doing that. She is having a whole party for everyone to focus on her kids only. I need to know how to address this with her. This happened 2 times so far.
The first time, we pretty much all assumed that she had to have planned for childcare that must have backed out or something. But since we weren't sure, we didn't ask her.
I think everyone felt awkward believing they were paying babysitters for an adult night and then having to have her kids at the dinner table, and them very actively part of the evening needing to be entertained, 2 young kids. Then, it happened again. She sent out events for a dinner party in the evening with adults only on the invitation.
Then, when we got there, she had set up all these kids' games everywhere.
She arranged the night around everyone kind of playing with her kids, and I could tell everyone felt awkward because people just wanted to have an adult night talking. But she had promised the kids that everyone would participate in the games they had set up and asked everyone if they wouldn't mind playing with the kids. I know that several people who attended the last event were very bothered by having to do this.
People were whispering on the side about how they had to pay a babysitter for the night and would have rather bring their kid along, and the kids could have just played games together if it's a family event. We barely ever pay a sitter, so I was kind of confused about why I had to spend my very limited babysitter funds on a night that I didn't even get to talk much with other adults because the kids were for sure the center of the evening.
She even stopped everyone to gather around to look at the kids' recent art projects and tell stories and sing. Is this normal in other circles?
What would you do if this was your friend? If I do say something, how would you explain this so that the person isn't mad or feels like you just don't like their kid?
She was mad because everyone left early and she had catered the event, but I think people didn't want to stay and preferred to just go back to their kids because they felt a little disrespected by the way things went. People are saying they don't want to hang out with her anymore. IDK, what to do?
Absolutely not normal. This isn't an adult-only party. This a group babysitting gig where everyone paid for their own babysitter fees and she gets it for free.
There's no way she doesn't know what she's doing unless she's really that deluded. Just tell her you'll bring the kids next time to play with her kids. See her response. If she responds with, "But it's an adults party," then just call it out that it isn't with her kids there and wanting everyone to play with her kids.
If she accepts it, then tell her to not call it an adults party next time.
And no one straight up said, "Hey, I thought this was adults only?" One of you needs to just ask.
This is Delulu.
Why would anyone want to go to an adult-only night to play games with the host's young children?
Doesn't she already know?
People left early enough to make her mad.
That's pretty much the universal signal that the guests aren't happy.
She can throw whatever kind of party she likes. People are free to attend or not attend as they please. No need for anyone to be offended, at least not more than once. I read your comments about being worried to offend her, so why not flip the script? Hey, my feelings are hurt after the second party that my children were not invited to. I know you said adults only, but since your kids were there both times, why not mine? I got a sitter, but meanwhile our kids would have loved to play games together, sing, and exchange phone numbers. It felt patronizing to fill the role of peer for your kids. Especially when my kids could have been there and I don't understand why they weren't invited to play. So, is there an explanation for why my kids are excluded from your parties? I, 29F, am attracted to a man other than my husband, 29M.
How do I stop this?
I see this man once a week due to some work arrangements. We only spend slightly less than an hour with each other during this time and there are others present as well.
We hit it off quite well, but I wouldn't say that we are anywhere close. After a week or two, he followed me on Instagram and that's probably how he found out I was married.
He did not approach me or DM me, but instead I did and just chatted with him briefly once just to reach out, no flirting whatsoever.
But now whenever I see his Insta stories, I find myself getting more and more attracted to him.
I have been with my husband for over 10 years and we just got married last year.
My husband is the sweetest and takes such good care of me, giving in to my every whims and wants.
I truly do not want to do anything to ruin my marriage.
How do I stop myself from thinking about this other man?
How do you stop being attracted to someone you're attracted to?
That's nearly impossible. How do you stop DMing coworkers who aren't your husband?
That's pretty damn easy actually. Probably start by removing the connection on Instagram, instead of using it to indulge in the crush.
After that, my bet is that time will be sufficient. As others have said, delete the Insta connection, follow. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it.
Consider doing more to date your husband. Best to you both, Orange Heart.
Remember that he's human too and will have flaws, imperfections, and also just the capacity to become boring over time too, just like anyone else. The only reason he seems so irresistible is that you don't fully know him intimately, so your imagination can fill in all the gaps. Draw boundaries with this, don't go out of your way to talk to him, and eventually it will pass.
Simple. Cut ties on social media and only speak during business.
Avoid him otherwise. We're all human and we have eyes, and other people can be attractive.
Don't engage.
Block this guy, cut contact.
Propriety keeps you from this bullshit. You're already entertaining too much contact with him.
Then, start dating your husband again, and rediscover why you fell in love with him and learn from this. Don't fuck your life up over some random guy's attention.
Band invited me on tour 23 per meter. Girlfriend 22F wants to break up.
WWYD?
Hey everyone. I'm a 23 per meter, dating 22F. We've been best friends for over a year and dating for the last 6 months. Our relationship has been great overall, and we really do love each other.
We've had minor hiccups related to jealousy and loyalty, but they were just small conversations that we moved past. Recently, my best friend, who is a manager for an indie band, invited me to join their USA tour. They'll be playing in about 30 states, hitting some of the biggest cities in the country. The band wants me to assist them, and they're offering to pay me a few $1,000s. They'll also cover all my food, flights, and other necessities.
I would be living on the tour bus.
This is an incredible opportunity for me because I love music and traveling, and right now, I don't have a lot of money. It's a great way to see the country without spending a dollar. The problem is, my girlfriend is very upset about this.
She's told me that she'll break up with me if I go. I can't even blame her entirely because I understand her feelings. I'd probably feel the same way if the roles were reversed. I don't know if I'd break up with her, but I'd definitely be upset and jealous, and it could jeopardize our relationship. I really want to take this offer. It feels like a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I shouldn't pass up. But I don't want to jeopardize my relationship with my girlfriend and lose her. I'm also worried that if she stops talking to me while I'm away, I'll be upset a lot during the trip.
This situation has also made me think about some underlying issues in our relationship, such as trust and jealousy. I'm questioning whether we have a future together if she can't trust me enough to let me go on this trip. But then again, I understand her perspective because I'd feel the same way if the situation were reversed. So, Reddit, what would you do in my situation? Should I take this opportunity and risk my relationship, or should I stay and possibly miss out on an amazing experience? Any advice or insights would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for reading. What would you do? Dude. Go on tour. When would you get another chance? For the love of God, man. Go on tour. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and I'm sorry to say there will always be another woman. If she truly cared for you,
she'd make you go.
just break up with her before you go.
You aren't really that into her, because if you were, you would have already declined the opportunity and wouldn't be posting here. Go on tour. At 23, you aren't even on your grind yet, and lastly, never ever derail your career for a woman. You are 23. What's the likelihood this relationship goes the rest of your life? On the flip side, how much fun would it be to tell everyone for the rest of your life about the tour you went on? It's been 6 months. Can't lie, I wouldn't even question this.
You go on tour, and if she wants to break up, I guess that's her problem.
I actually don't see a single reason she has to be jealous in your post. Is it that you are going to be on tour and that's it?
That implies all musicians on tour are just banging people left, right, and center, but let me tell ya, that isn't how it goes. Go have fun, man.
Forget about her if she wants to hold you back.
Break up with her and go on tour. You will regret it forever if you don't go.